Jesus did say that there is one unforgivable sin, and that is the sin of the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Lots of people worry that they've done this sin, but I don't think you need to be worried about it. And this is why. If you look in the Bible, certain Pharisees had committed this sin because they were saying that Jesus was doing his miracles in the power of Satan rather than the power of the Holy Spirit. They saw all the miracles Jesus was doing. They saw it with their own eyes, but instead of giving God the glory, they're giving Satan the glory for those miracles. And so that is why Jesus describes it as the unforgivable sin. Now, is it possible for you to do that today? No, it's not, because you don't see the miracles of Jesus. You aren't there witnessing all these things. And so it's impossible for you to do that sin. So I wouldn't worry about that sin, but I would worry about all the other sins you've done. Lying, stealing, blasphemy, anger. All these sins make us deserving of hell anyway. But that's why Jesus came to die. And if you trust that Jesus paid for your sin, he pays for them all. So therefore you can know that you're going to heaven.
Have you committed the unforgivable sin? Now, what is the unforgivable sin? Jesus talks about it in the Bible where he says that all sins will be forgiven unto man except for blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. Now, we need to understand what blasphemy is. Blasphemy is speaking against and being in complete opposition towards. Now, the Holy Spirit is Christ's extension to his believers down here on earth. He is the very entity that is sent into you when you accept Christ. Now, the Bible also says that the Holy Spirit is the best teacher you will ever have, and it will teach you all things that are truthful and that what Jesus is leading you towards. So blasphemy against the Holy Spirit is being complete opposition towards the truth and towards the Holy Spirit teaching you. It's rejecting the Holy Spirit altogether. So if you are open to the truth and you're open to Jesus being the truth and you love him and you accept him and you have faith in him, don't worry, you have not committed the unforgivable.
Do you know what the unforgivable sin is? There is a sin mentioned in the Bible that you cannot be forgiven from, and it's blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. And this is how you know you've committed this sin or not. But before we get into it, hit that follow button if you would like to receive more spiritual tips. Here's how you know if you've committed it.
Then there's spiritual torment, and the example I would give is the accusation that you've committed the unforgivable sin. Now, if you are concerned about having committed the unforgivable sin, you haven't committed it. Do you understand? Because the people who have committed it are not the least bit concerned. So that's not your problem. Your problem is a lying, accusing spirit, which is taking away your peace and the assurance of your salvation.
Have you committed the unforgivable sin? The unforgivable sin is called blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. And what that sin is when you call the work of the Holy Spirit or the Holy Spirit himself evil. Now, if you're worried you've committed that sin, it's likely that you haven't. And there's no sin that God can't forgive. You see, this is an unforgivable sin because those who commit that sin will never ask God for forgiveness in the first place because they have so much hatred towards God. I hope that clears it up. And if you're worried you've committed a sin, just ask Jesus to forgive you right now.